So, hey, it's Miss Robinson. We're going to be talking about lab equipment today. You're going to be able to properly identify pieces of lab equipment that we may or may not use this year, but more than likely you'll be using next year or in the years to come at high school. You're also going to be able to understand the purpose and the units of measurement for each piece of lab equipment. All right, so the beaker. We've all seen a beaker before, and this basically is a container used for stirring, mixing, and heating other liquids. And it also measures in liters, capital L, and milliliters, lowercase m, capital L. Okay. This is used when you want to pour all of your liquid into, and you'll use that when you pour from a graduated cylinder. Okay, so a graduated cylinder is used to measure that volume of liquid in milliliters or liters, and then once you measure it out in that graduated cylinder, that's when you will pour it into your beaker. So the graduated cylinder is for measuring, and that beaker is basically used to hold that liquid. Okay. So the eyedropper is exactly what it sounds like. Basically, you'll be able to take it from a main container, such as the beaker, and you'll be able to take small amounts out. So if we were doing a lab and I was holding all the liquid for everyone, I would hold it in the beaker up on my counter, and you will come get the eye drops for the couple of drops that you would need from that beaker. Okay. And it also, remember, it just holds 1 to 2 drops, just like if you were taking some medicine. Okay. Sorry about that. So triple beam balance, we've used this in 6th grade. If you haven't used it before, this is what it looks like right here. It's able to measure the mass of an object in grams, lowercase g, and kilograms, lowercase k, lowercase g. This right here is what you would measure, like if you had the liquid in a beaker, you wanted to measure how much you had in grams. This is similar to what you use when you go to the doctor's office and you stand on the scale, and there's 3 different weights, and the nurse, they will move it in order for to make sure that it's leveled. Those 2 lines, when they meet, that is leveled. Same thing right here on the triple beam balance. That will be that level right there, and here are your weights. And you will move those around to figure out the grams, and then you would add them up, and that will be your total mass for that particular object. Okay. All right. So a meter stick, we've worked with it with measurement. It's a measurement of length, and we use the measurements of meter, capital lowercase m. You have your centimeter, lowercase cm, millimeters, little m, and km for kilometers. We will be talking about the metric system, so we won't be discussing inches at all. Okay. You will see the centimeters and millimeters on a regular ruler, and they're also on the meter stick, and you'll be able to see that later on and in several labs that will be conducted this year. All right, so dropper bottles. Similar to the eye drops, the difference is that you will have the bottles at your seat, okay, and versus the eyedroppers where you will have to go get the liquid out of the beaker and coming from a larger container. A CPUP tray is exactly what it looks like. These are wells right here. They're wells. And you will drop that liquid into the wells right here. So you drop those 2 things of liquid. All right. And that basically is so you don't waste that liquid. It holds just a few drops, and the CPUP tray has 9 wells. Okay. And it allows for a smaller scale to be measured or to mix with. All right, goggles. Pretty self-explanatory. They are protecting your eyes from chemicals. Even when we use vinegar will sting. That's why we will use goggles. I have plenty of goggles for everyone, but we will not use them for all labs, even though it is best lab safety practice. But we'll be using them for a couple of them, especially when we start using with vinegar. So a mortar and a pestle. basically is used for a grinding and crushing method and to make stuff into powder. For example, sugar. We know it's crystallized and this in little cubes, but we'll use this to make it a powder. So you'll keep grinding it and grinding it and grinding it, and it'll be more of a powdered substance instead of being crystallized. Okay. Yeah, it looks like something from the caveman. It is a clay. Um, it is a clay utensil, so it is older and it is used what it's for. Basically, it is very sturdy and is holding. It does make a little annoying noise, but you know that you're getting it grinded up. Okay. Evaporating dish is used when it's literally evaporating liquids after it's being heated. That's when you're basically going to pour something into something else, and you have this little spout right here, like if you have a pitcher, and that helps to pour evenly into a larger container. A well plate. It contains 15 wells instead of 9, and it is similar to a CPUP tray. But it is a little harder to see, but it doesn't hold the droppers, but it will hold that liquid. So you can put a few more drops than 1 or 2 drops, as you can see. I just scribbled that on there, but it holds a few more drops at a time. Similar to same format, more wells, more liquid being added to it. So our forceps, tweezers, self-explanatory, same concept, but it's easier to help grasp small objects, and it also helps to hold over a flame. You're not going to want to hold your finger with something over a flame. That's what that forceps are for. And you can see it's a little longer than regular tweezers, and this end part is more. It doesn't have a flat head like our tweezers do to be able to grasp something, but these are sharper enough to be able to grasp a crystal to put over a flame, and it is also long enough. So that's what the forceps are for. A test tube. These are basically a thin glass tube. It's closed at one bottom and it's open at another, and it's at a curve. But you don't put a lot of liquid into the test tube. It holds small amounts of liquid for a lab. And you use these basically to heat something up or to mix something together. For example, you could put baking soda in there, some iodine in there, then put it over a flame and it will react. You put different things in there. For example, you see the picture here, you have different colors. You probably could have added something to something else, and that would have been your small amounts for that test, for that lab test, or that exam, or that experiment. All right, so that's basically all the lab equipment that we're going to be discussing this year and possibly will be using. At the end of your notes, like I said, you're taking your own notes this year and in your composition notebook. You do not have to write word for word as long as you're getting the most important things down. At the end, I want you to write at least 1 or 2 questions. They don't have to be as challenging, but pretend you were the teacher and you were giving a quiz to the class. And I want you to write those 2 questions if you were the teacher. That could be on a quiz or a test. All right, if you have any questions, make sure you ask me, and then you can all go ahead and take your video notes quiz. Thanks.